NASU SSANU protest withheld salaries. PDP governors support local government financial autonomy verdict. Army declares Plateau's Fan district a criminal enclave. And on the foreign scene, Kenyan opposition denies coalition talks. Good afternoon and welcome to the news update on Trust Television at this hour. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for joining us, and now the news in detail. Members of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and those of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Universities have converged at the Unity Fountain for a national protest. A handful of the protesters are already in the premises of the Unity Fountain. However, security operatives have locked some of the protesters out of the premises. After some agitations by the protesters, the gate is left open, and the protesters have now blocked the entrance to the Unity Fountain with their trucks. The protesters are demanding the payment of their 4 months withheld salaries and the renegotiation of the 2010 agreement with the federal government, among other demands. The unions, as well as the Academic Staff Union of Universities, had in 2022 embarked on a long strike. While SSANU and NASU had a 4-month strike, the ASU strike lasted 8 months.
The letter to draw the attention of government today, we are going to submit those letters. Let me also welcome into our midst very distinguished and honored and respected Commissioner of Police for Abuja FCT. Can you give him a round of applause?
And on to political matters, governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party have welcomed the recent ruling of the Supreme Court on the local government autonomy. The PDP governors made their position known, rising from the forum's meeting held at the Enugu State Government House, Enugu, on Wednesday. According to a communique issued at the end of the meeting by its chairman, Governor Bala Mohammed, the forum said it will continue to support the autonomy of the local governments as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Apex Court had on July 11 declared that it is unconstitutional for state governors to hold on to funds meant for local government administrations. The court also barred governors from dissolving democratically elected local government councils in the country, saying doing so would amount to a breach of the 1999 Constitution. A week after the landmark judgment, the PDP governors accepted the Apex Court's decision while calling for caution in implementing the ruling.
Following an exhaustive discussion and consultations with all the organs of the party, as you can see here, the National Working Committee and all the other organs, BOT and the rest, the meeting resolved as follows. Supreme Court ruling on local government allocation. The forum believes in the efficacy of the local government system, which ensures that governance is brought closer to the people as provided in the Constitution. The forum also will continue to support the autonomy of the local governments as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, restoring the nation's past glory. The forum regrets that the 16 years of tremendous development under the PDP-led federal government, during which the country witnessed single-digit inflation, the establishment of the existing anti-corruption institutions, and higher standards of living for every Nigerian has been eroded during the lifespan of the lackluster APC-led federal government. The forum identifies with the Nigerian populace in these troubling times and promises to bring back those good old days of low inflation rate, affordable food, fuel and transportation, steady FDI inflows resulting in high naira value and the greater quality of human life as recorded. In that regard, the meeting commended the governors of the PDP-controlled states for their innovative approaches to governance in many fields.
And to the Red Chamber of the National Assembly, the Lawmaker representing Benue South Senatorial District, Ali Ndume, has been removed as a chief whip of the Senate. The decision was announced on Wednesday after a letter of complaint against Ndume by the leadership of the All Progressives Congress was read by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during plenary. Trustee Senate correspondent brings details.
The letter, signed by the APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje and Secretary of the party, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, explained that Ndume, in his capacity as Chief Whip, has been working to bring down the country through his unguarded utterances. When the letter was put to a voice vote by the Senate President, members of the APC Senate caucus endorsed Ndume's removal. He was immediately replaced by his Borno North counterpart, Tahir Monguno.
We realized that the position of the whip of the Senate belongs to our party, and we are not opposed to whatever position the members of the APC caucus in the Senate may have. But we are of the opinion that distinguished Senator Mohammed Tahir Monguno should immediately replace distinguished Senator Ali Ndume.
However, a lawmaker who seemed to have been offended by Senator Ndume's statement demanded that the erstwhile Senate Majority Whip be invited by the Senate Ethics Committee to provide names of those officials he alleged are kleptocrats.
Senator Ndume's statement is a blanket statement, and I want to implore this Senate, in a matter of days, for him to come categorical with evidence of the people he referred to as kleptomaniacs. I would like this matter of privilege to be referred to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges.
In the end, the APC Senate caucus resolved that the party had already delivered the appropriate penalty, hence the matter be rested.
The point of what I was saying, however, the Senate is of the view that the matter be allowed to rest, as the party has taken a decision on it. Those in support of what I've said aye. Those against say nay. So the matter is rested.
Reacting to the development, Jide Ojo, a public affairs analyst, says he is concerned about the impression this will create, especially on how the current administration reacts to criticism.
It's a worrisome development for all lovers of democracy, because it will seem like those who are in this government are caged, and they cannot even sound their disaffection or their growls or grievances, if they should have any. And you know, it shows lack of tolerance, and it does not follow international best practice.
Mr. Ojo added that Senator Ndume's removal is born out of a popular adage that those who benefit must keep silent.
So it's just in line with practice that when you are part of a government, whatever reservation you have, you just keep it to yourself. Or you whisper it to the powers that be, not necessarily coming on the media space to criticize, because that is seen as somehow divisive, and it shows that the government is not united.
This is not the first time that a senior government official has been disciplined for criticizing the current administration. Recall that Senator Ahmed Ningi, a PDP lawmaker, was suspended by the Senate on March 12 after he alleged that the federal government was operating two versions of the 2024 budget, and that the 28.7 trillion naira budget passed and signed into law by the president did not capture the interest of the North. Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
President Bola Tinubu has launched the Nigerian Education Loan Fund a few weeks after he approved 35 billion naira for the scheme's takeoff, targeting 70,000 initial applicants. Launching the portal at the council chambers of the State House, Abuja, President Tinubu promised to forge inclusiveness and ensure provision of sufficient funds to sustain the scheme. Speaking to newsmen at the State House, Abuja, after the ceremony, the MD and CEO of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, Akintunde Sawyer, said the portal has received over 110,000 loan applications so far. Kehinde Amodu reports.
The student loan scheme seeks to provide financial support, including school fees and stipends, to eligible students nationwide. Over 1.2 million applicants are expected to benefit from the first phase of the program. Handing out symbolic checks to students in some institutions, President Tinubu stressed that education was the greatest weapon against poverty, insecurity, and abuse in society.
If we have a successful inclusiveness and the loan that is necessary for our people to get educated and invest in their own life, we will have built a fair society and a promise that we earn a banner without staying to our children.
The beneficiaries are in two categories: institutions at which benefiting students will study, which will receive tuition fees, and the beneficiaries who will receive a direct disbursement of funds that will cover accommodation and feeding.
You apply for the institutional loan, your fees are paid, or you get approval for the fees being paid. You can then apply for a monthly stipend or for a stipend that covers your time there. That goes directly to the student if they are successful. Just to clarify, one is contingent on the other, so you can't get the stipend unless your fees are being paid and you're going to an institution.
The NEL Fund boss is also clarifying that the loans are open to not just indigent students, but all that apply and are found eligible.
The law says that we should provide these loans to people who need the loans. It doesn't actually specify that they have to be indigent. However, today, I tend to segment students in Nigeria into three categories: those who go and study abroad, those who go to private universities in Nigeria, and those who are in the state sector. I think it's a fairly safe bet to assume that those who are in the state sector are the ones that are most needy. The fees are low, the class sizes are very large. It's very difficult for most people. We're trying to
provide a balance. The fund may in the future factor in the concerns of students in private institutions who might, for one reason or the other, be compelled to apply for the loan. At the moment, NEL Fund has received more applications from institutions in the northern part of the country, with 80.2% being male, while 19.8% are female. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
In an effort to meet national standards in the education sector, stakeholders have advocated for the integration of project-based and experiential learning in Nigerian classrooms. The registrar of the Institute of Education Leadership Practitioners, Taiwo Olushola, called on the Minister of Education and the Nigerian Universities Commission to explore ways to harness innovative pedagogies and leadership skills for 21st century students.
The institutional benefits that they may get from it, we have visibility. Institutions can enhance their reputation by participation and contributing to the conference. There will also be professional growth. Sponsoring staff to attend will also foster their professional growth and bring back valuable knowledge to the institution. So we encourage organizations to send in their staff so that they can be part and parcel of the event. The community and social impact, societal impact is always there. Educational advancement, we are sharing of best practices and innovative solutions that will contribute to the overall advancements of education.
On to security matters, the 3-division Nigerian Army and Operation Safe Haven have declared Fan District in Barkin Ladi local government area of Plateau State a criminal enclave, following the cache of arms and ammunition recovered within a week of operation. The Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, 3 Division, Major A.I. Danja, disclosed this at Fan General Area on Wednesday while parading 7 suspects in connection with the killing of a senior immigration officer who was also the Assistant Commander of Sector 4, Operation Safe Haven in Barkin Ladi local government area.
The Assistant Sector Commander, Christopher Luka, was shot dead in the Fan district of Barkilaji local government area while leading an operation to recover illegal arms from gun runners' hideout at Sangasa village of Fan district on Wednesday last week. According to the spokesperson of the division, the operation, which led to the discovery of cache of weapons, was in pursuance of one of his core operational mandates of mopping up illegal arms and ammunition from the hands of unauthorized persons.
Specifically, the following were recovered during the operation. 1. 16 AK-47 rifles. 2. 16 fabricated AK-47 rifles. 3. 15 den guns. 4. 16 AK-47 magazines. 5. 1 AK-47 drum magazine having capacity to hold 75 rounds of ammunition. The huge recovery of arms and ammunition and other dangerous weapons, as well as military uniforms from Fan district in just 1 week, further affirm that the district is a criminal enclave.
The Nigerian Army also declared 4 persons wanted in connection with criminal activities in the area.
Also, as part of the ongoing effort to arrest criminals complicit in criminal activities in Fan districts and environs, the following persons are hereby declared wanted by the security agencies. Mr. Timothy Zakadong, also known as Timaya. Others include Mr. Sampi, Dachum Job, and Yakubu Ishiaku. Any person with useful information on the whereabouts of the wanted criminals should kindly contact the closest security outpost.
One of the arrested suspects, Washpam, denied any involvement in criminal activities in the area. I was arrested while on my way to the Roa community. I was asked to show where the guns were kept in the community, but I told them I had never used a gun. However, I have seen my friend with one before. When I led them to his house, he was not around. Maybe he hid it somewhere, I don't know. The army assured that they will not be deterred by false propaganda, but will rather remain resolute in its drive to rid the entire joint operations area of crime and criminality. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
This is a news update coming to you live from Trust Television studios in the nation's capital. Still to come. Low patronage slowing down business operations for Kaduna artisans. We'll bring you more news when we return. Just stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying. Let's have another look at some of our top stories. NASU SSANU protest withheld salaries. PDP governors support local government financial autonomy verdict. Cobbling and shoemaking are two of the oldest professions in the world, and Nigeria in particular, right from the era that human beings discovered the use of shoes. While shoemakers make new shoes, cobblers repair existing ones, making both businesses go hand in hand as some cobblers venture into shoemaking with the passage of time. However, with the present economic downturn in the country, Trust TV's Bello Musa reports that some people are resorting to repairing old shoes instead of buying new ones, thereby negatively impacting on the shoemaking industry. His report.
Nigerian shoemakers have been making shoes not only for local use, but for others outside the country, with some competing with foreign products. Normally, I produce like 300 to 500 pairs of shoes per month, while in a day, I can make at least 15 pairs. Despite importation of footwear into the country, shoemakers in Nigeria have been competing favorably to the extent that some prefer homemade shoes. Local shoes are affordable, and I enjoy using them. The imported ones are expensive, and are not even durable. So it is good to encourage local producers by patronizing them. It is necessary for us to buy locally made shoes because one can buy 3 pairs with the same money spent on buying 1 pair of imported shoes. The rising cost of living is affecting the purchasing power of many Nigerians, including those patronizing homemade shoes, as many have resorted to fixing their old shoes as they can't afford the new ones. Before now, people could buy new shoes on a regular basis instead of repeating their old shoes over and over again. But now, due to the hardship, people are managing their old shoes. During the last Salah celebration, many people brought their old shoes here for repairs because they could not afford the new ones. To be honest, customers now prefer repairing their old shoes instead of buying new ones due to the present economic situation in the country. The harsh economic environment in the country is affecting both shoemakers and cobblers, who are lamenting the surge in the price of materials. The cost of living is affecting our business. For instance, what we used to buy at the cost of 100 naira is now 300. Our biggest challenge now is cost of materials and also low patronage. In the past, I could sell 300 pairs in 6 weeks, but now the patronage is low. Umar's dream is to graduate from being a cobbler to a shoemaker like Yusuf. Bella Musa, Trust TV News Kaduna.
The National Assembly on Wednesday passed for second reading an executive bill seeking to tax the windfall made by banks from foreign exchange business. The bill is an amendment to the Finance Act of 2023. According to the federal government, the one-time tax will be used to finance capital infrastructure development, education, healthcare, and other welfare initiatives. Another executive bill, which scaled the second reading, seeks to increase the 2024 Appropriation Act by 6.2 trillion naira. Senate President Godswill Akpabio and Speaker Abbas Tajuddin read a letter from President Bola Tinubu during plenaries in both chambers. The president sought to increase the 2024 budget to 34.9 trillion naira from the 28.7 trillion naira signed on January 1. The amendment is to provide for an additional 3.2 trillion naira for projects and 3 trillion naira for recurrent expenditure. We move on now to developments away from Nigeria. Kenya's opposition coalition, led by its veteran leader, Raila Odinga, has ruled out any possibility of a coalition with the government following the recent anti-tax protests that has led to at least 40 deaths. This follows recent meetings between the government of President William Ruto's coalition, OKA, and Odinga's Azimio La Umoja coalition that began last year. Protests began on June 18, calling for the sacking of cabinet ministers over incompetence, corruption, and displays of opulence, while ordinary people suffered from a cost of living crisis. Protesters stormed Parliament on June 25 after legislators passed a finance bill that would raise taxes. Police opened fire, killing several people. Odinga, on the other hand, has been on record calling for a dialogue among different stakeholders, including the protesting youth who have branded themselves as Gen Z. Rwanda's ruling coalition is leading with the highest number of seats in the legislative election, with President Kagame's Rwandan Patriotic Front remaining largely dominant with more than 62% of the votes. Other historic parties, notably the Liberal Party and the Social Democratic Party, received nearly 11% and 9% of the votes, respectively. Parties allied with the RPF, some of whose leaders are ministers, supported President Paul Kagame during the presidential campaign and followed him in his campaign meetings. The two groups outside the coalition and its allies, PS Imbrekuri and the Democratic Green Party, finished with a little over 5% of the votes, thus reaching the minimum threshold to obtain seats in the parliament. The Electoral Commission has not yet provided the distribution of the number of deputies by political party. And with that, we've come to the end of the news update at this hour on Trust Television. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for your time. Join us again.